Hello everyone, it's Friday, so it's time for another Friday read. And it has been a week. If you don't know, the whole government of the Netherlands resigned over some fraud of welfare systems. We have also had our lockdown be a little bit stricter. We are allowed to have less people in the house now. They want to put a curfew. It's all fun, right? um, yeah, but at least Joe Biden is the president of the United States now. So there's positives as well. But yeah, on terms of reading, I think I'm quite happy with my reading. I'll just start by saying that I finished my Year of Myths by Ruth Ozeki, and I read this as part of my Invisible Cities project for Japan. I have a vlog up for that, so if you are interested in my thoughts on this in more depth, you can go check that out. But I love this one. It's about a woman in the US that is filming sort of a documentary series about the American family and the American wife, more specifically, but it's supposed to be aired in Japan. It's not for American people. And then we also follow a woman in Japan that watches the show, and her husband is also part of the show and is trying to force the show to always show meat, specifically beef, because he works with that and he wants Japanese women to want to cook beef. Um, and it talks a lot about the meat industry and all the hormones that are used there, but it also talks about womanhood and the issues that they have as women, and also in correlation with the meat industry and the hormones that they are used there, and also about the media and what the media decides to portray and why those things are portrayed. And it's so interesting, so well written, and at the same time so easy to read in terms of the writing. Of course, there are horrible things that happen here, so those are not easy to read in that sense. But yeah, it was great, and I cannot believe this was published in 1998. It's so good, and I would recommend to everybody. But after that, sadly, it was not as successful because I picked up The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera, and this was my reread for January actually. But I read maybe 50 pages of it and I DNFd it. I was not sure how I was gonna feel this time around. The first time I loved it, but I knew that there was quite misogynistic things going on in this book, and maybe I didn't pick up the first time around. This time I really noticed, so it really hindered my reading experience. And at some point, I decided, you know what, I don't want to keep going with this, so I'm just going to DNF it, and I guess this will go to the second-hand shop whenever they're open. But yeah, sadly I did not finish this one. And then the last one I finished is Inland by Tea Obreth. And this one, again, was not the most successful experience I've ever had. So this one is about a woman in the late 19th centuries in the US, in Arizona, I think, and different things that go on in her life. The writing was quite beautiful, but the story and the plot was so strange. I couldn't follow half of the time, and I just was not interested, to be honest. So, even though the writing was really nice, I thought that was not enough to pull me into this book, and I did not enjoy the story as much as I wanted to. So, yeah, sadly, this one was a bit of a meh for me. It was not a horrible book. I don't think it's a bad book, but it was just not for me. So yeah, I this one I was not so keen in. About what I am currently reading, so I am reading Seasons Between Us, which is an anthology of short stories, which I believe are mainly about identity, which is something I'm very interested about. And this was a proof copy from NetGalley, so thank you to NetGalley and the publishers to let me read this. But yeah, this one I've just started the few first pages, and it sounds really interesting, but I don't have too much to say about it yet because I haven't read most of the stories. So yeah, I will let you know when I have read more of this, but I'm planning to take it easy with that one because it's short stories and tend to I don't like to be reading many books at one time, which means that I want to finish one book before I pick the next one. With short stories, that obviously doesn't work. So I guess I will be starting something else probably tomorrow or today. From what I want to read, there are a few things that I want to read or slash sort of need to read this week. The first one is because it's the last week of the month, I want to finish with my invisible projects for January, and my last country is Morocco. So I think I will be doing my book for Morocco this weekend, and that one is Lullaby by Leila Slimani, which is, I believe, it's kind of a thriller about a nanny, and the kid that she takes care of is killed, supposedly by the nanny. I think. I don't know if that is actually what happens or not. But yeah, it sounds like a fast read, so I am looking forward to that this weekend and cooking some Moroccan food, of course. But yeah, I could not sadly access the books that I wanted from the library for Morocco because my library is closed. But I have access to this one, so I'm lucky enough that I can at least read one book for Morocco. And the other thing that I want to read slash need to read this week is On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, which has gotten a lot of praise. People tend to say that it's very poetic, and it's basically about this gay man that also has Vietnamese origins, and he's writing letters to his mother. That's as much as I know. And this one is for my book club, and we are having our meeting next Thursday. So I want to read that before the meeting, obviously. So I will be trying to focus on that next week as well. And there are also a few other books that I would like to read. But yeah, those are the two that I really want to get done because they are for projects. But yeah, let me know how your week was. If you celebrated that Biden is president now, let me know how you celebrated. And yeah, I hope next week gets better. And until next video, bye!